Issues in football are highly flammable. Like, is the obsession with top four finishes cringeworthy? Was London Stadium West Ham's dumbest idea? And who is football's fittest fanatic? The hottest debate from the world game, here on The Burning Issue. Wayne Rooney was one of United's best and a clubman to the bone. But did his last season in red affect his legacy? Following a tumultuous 2016-17 season, Wayne Rooney ended a 13-year stint at Manchester United and returned to Everton, where he'd made his senior debut in 2002. When the deal was done, it emerged Rooney knew he was leaving United 9 months before his announcement, which explained the weird deflections before the Europa League final.
Do you still think there is some hope that you may be here for another season?
My focus is on trying to help us win this final, and that's my sole focus. I think you know, it's a massive opportunity for us as a group of players to win a European title, and my focus is to help us try and win this one.
Would you like to stay?
Would I like to stay? I've been at this club 13 years. Of course, I want to play football.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Equally vague was his prospective new boss, Everton manager Ronald Koeman. Here, when pressed about the possibility of inheriting one of the game's greatest.
I think it's not the moment now to talk about what will happen or what we need or what we like for next season.
United boss Jose Mourinho claimed he was doing everything to protect a legend's legacy.
What I can guarantee is that if Wayne one day leaves the club, it's not because I want him to leave the club. That's the only thing I can guarantee. I would never push or try to push a legend of this club to another destiny.
But the amount of game time Mourinho gave his star player in his final season suggested something very different. Up next, was Rooney given enough respect in his final season at Old Trafford? Wayne Rooney was seen on the bench more frequently than any time in his career in 2016-17 and started only 15 games. When the trade with striker Romelu Lukaku was all sealed and delivered, Rooney felt free to confess his frustrations in his final season at Old Trafford. Regarding the team's League Cup and Europa League victories, he said, "You don't feel like you deserve it because you haven't been part of the game." But we can't get too romantic about Jose pushing Rooney to the fringe. The striker was hampered by niggling injuries around the time, and his on-field efficacy had been in decline for a while. From the 2011-12 season, in which he was the Premier League's second highest scorer behind only Robin van Persie, Rooney's minutes-to-goals ratio was telling. It is a task handling a player of Rooney's stature in the twilight of his prime.
It's very difficult, but during my career, I had this kind of situations of getting players, amazing players with amazing history, in the last period of their career. The good thing with Wayne is that he's very club man. He's very club man, and if he is frustrated he hides it. If he's not happy, he hides it.
Still, it's understandable Wayne felt stung. He is, after all, known to be a bit of a softie, despite presenting himself otherwise. And it's hard for any champion to feel things slip when they've reached such heights. He won 5 Premier League titles with United and a Champions League trophy, taking over as club captain in 2014. The FA Cup, League Cup and Community Shield are all under his belt, as is a PFA Player of the Year award. There was also the honour of surpassing Sir Bobby Charlton as United's most prolific goal scorer, his 250th coming in the 93rd minute against Stoke in January 2017. If you count all his other achievements with England, becoming the nation's all-time goal scorer and Player of the Year 4 times, well,
he done everything. You know, he's got nothing to prove to no one, not even to himself.
He's been a sensational footballer for Man United, won great things, scored some, ridiculous amounts of goals.
So while Rooney's departure from Old Trafford might have seemed a little anticlimactic, history will certainly overlook it, and he'll be remembered as one of United's greatest clubmen. In the race to finish off the 2017 Premier League season, former Manchester United captain Roy Keane reached the end of his tether. All the talk of Champions League qualification had the straight-shooting Irishman lamenting. When I see clubs like Liverpool and Manchester United celebrating getting into the top 4, I cringe at it. Keane's frustrations come from his time at Old Trafford, when Sir Alex Ferguson instilled a ferocious belief in his players that anything less than a league title and a solid crack at winning Champions League was considered a failure. It was tough love that bore fruit. Keane had 7 Premier League titles to his name and captained the Red Devils to the famous 1999 treble. So was he right to cringe at modern attitudes? United manager Jose Mourinho did win the EFL Cup and Europa League, but he was clearly relieved that the latter helped him dodge a bullet after a dismal 6th-place Premier League finish.
For me, it's the most important trophy of my career.
He claimed it was a noble way of making Champions League.
We go to the Champions League by winning a trophy, not by finishing 2nd or 3rd or 4th.
And it tied a bow around the season.
It means for the club, the last piece of the puzzle.
But that was a puzzle conveniently missing a league title, Jose. Mourinho's crosstown rival Pep Guardiola guided Manchester City to Champions League qualification by a safer route with a 3rd-place finish. And it was fascinating listening to the difference in his analysis.
Well, if you analyze the trophies, how many trophies we are able to win this year? 0. So it's easy to analyze. So it's simple like that. So if you analyze our job and how many titles is good or how many titles is not good, so the season was not good.
Where Mourinho seemed to have moved on from the pressures at the helm of Real Madrid, Pep felt the blowtorch of Barcelona and Bayern Munich's hot seats burning a little closer.
Pressure I have when I arrive in Barcelona, when nothing to to defend, and when in that club, in 6 months you don't win, you are really out, or like Barcelona or Bayern Munich. That you have to win by far. If not, they don't give you a second chance.
Pep wasn't joking that he'd finished with some mediocre results. The 3rd-place finish no doubt appeased the board, but exits in the 4th round of the EFL Cup and round of 16 in Champions League were telling next to his predecessor, Manuel Pellegrini's final season. While Arsenal managed the 2017 FA Cup win, It couldn't divert from Arsene Wenger's failure to steer the club to a top-4 finish for the first time in 20 years, let alone a title. Perhaps channeling some keen grit, former Arsenal defender Mikhail Sylvester reflected on Wenger's style of management.
He was not ruthless enough with the players, me included, you know. You miss points, and at the end in the balance, those points can cost you the title.
Following Liverpool's 2016-17 season, Jurgen Klopp claimed he only had eyes for silverware.
There's no alternative to winning trophies. There's no alternative.
That was following a season blighted by bombs like the FA Cup fourth-round exit at the hands of Championship side Wolves. But having gone one better than Wenger with Liverpool's fourth-place finish, Klopp put his finger on the pulse of this whole issue.
Maybe top 4 is more important from a financial point of view.
It ain't a maybe. Between 2012 and 2017, UEFA paid Italian giant Juventus €281 million for its Champions League involvement. And the competition's most successful team, Real Madrid, made €277 million. The group stage's basic pay in 2017 was €12.7 million and €15.5 million for winning. Financial incentive? No doubt. But why not add the monetary value of winning on top? Manchester United pocketed €14.7 million for beating Ajax in the 2017 Europa League final. Sure, there must be loads of pressure from club bean counters to qualify for Champions League, but Keane's gnarly wisdom still holds. If the big Premier League clubs return their full attention to only winning, then finishing in the top 4 should sort itself out. After the break, did West Ham make a gigantic blunder by choosing London Stadium as its new home? The modern football stadium is a throwback to mythical arenas of old, when warriors battled for glory and riches. And they're some of the most iconic structures on Earth, like the majestic arch of Wembley Stadium, or the artistic innovation of the Calabash in Johannesburg. The mighty Santiago Bernabeu had atmosphere even without the Real Madrid players for the 2017 Champions League final. With the action happening in Cardiff, screens took their place. Most importantly, stadiums become second homes for players and fans. So when a club decides to relocate, it's important to make the new home feel, well, homely. West Ham hoped for this when they uprooted from the Boylan Ground after 112 years and moved to London Stadium, formerly Olympic Stadium, built for the 2012 Games.
The club's moving on. We have to move on with the times, and hopefully we can take the soul of this place to the new stadium.
Going from a 35,000-seat venue to 57,000 seats was something manager Slaven Bilic knew would herald big changes.
It's like a home, it's like first home. No matter where you move, after that you move to more fancy apartments or to bigger houses or to mansions, some of you to mansions and all that, but still your favorite one is your first.
Ultimately, it was to chase more revenue and compete with financial behemoths like Chelsea and Manchester United. But there was a major issue with their choice. See all that track around the outside of the London Stadium pitch? That's what you get when a venue was originally built for the Olympics. Fans go to games to get as close to the action as their pennies can afford. And having a running track between you and your team is like a wedge in the atmosphere. It was like fans could feel what was coming. While Bilic and co played up the emotion of the last match at the Boylan Ground against Manchester United, this is how fans greeted the tourists. And it was just the beginning. Violent clashes became a regular occurrence at London Stadium. During the League Cup win over Chelsea, 7 people were arrested for brawling, groups being bunched together in the gangways, proving a nightmare. Bilic had his PR face on.
Everything that we've been talking before this game about new stadium, is it like home ground as Bowling Ground was for so many years.
But reports from behind the scenes were that the players called the empty, cavernous atmosphere terrible. It clearly bled into the Hammers' form. By the end of the 2016-17 Premier League season, Bilic's boys walked away with 7 home wins, 4 draws and 8 losses, whereas they only lost 3 league games at the Boylan Ground the previous season. It's fair enough clubs want to expand and move with the times. Atletico Madrid took out a €160 million loan to build the new Wanda Metropolitano from scratch, which wasn't without controversy, by the way. But they didn't build a running track around the pitch. With home entertainment systems growing more and more sophisticated, creating atmosphere in stadiums is more important than ever. And for them to feel like home, they're best devoted to football alone. To play at the highest level takes incredible stamina and superior strength. But which footballer is the fittest? While he was at the helm of Queen's Park Rangers, straight shooter Harry Redknapp grew fed up watching his P's and Q's about Adel Tarap's fitness.
I can't keep protecting people who don't want to run about and train and about 3 stone overweight. What am I supposed to keep saying? Keep getting your 60, 70 grand a week and don't train. What's the game coming to?
As much as we can laugh at his style of delivery, Harry raised an interesting point about players maintaining peak fitness. Huge monetary incentives equaling huge pressure to deliver. And when you're on the roster of a team like Barcelona, keeping the bulge at bay is a particularly high-stakes business. That's why players are rigorously weighed and measured in pre-season medical testing. Here before their International Champions Cup clash with Juventus in 2017. Naming and shaming those who'd given over to temptation on holiday. Wonder if they found the genes separating Messi from the rest of the human race. The Barca players must have behaved themselves pretty well, especially Neymar, who scored both goals during the 2-1 win over Juve. While all players are required to stay above and beyond the health and fitness of your average Joe, there are some who take it to the next level. So who are the fittest? Belgian international Romelu Lukaku is one of the most physically imposing talents in the game. He's fit, he's fast, and he's big at 6'3" and 100 kilos. And that's non-negotiable. Lukaku once explaining that I play at 100 kilos. Playing at 99 kilos or 101 kilos really makes a difference. This kind of discipline, which includes loads of kettlebell and medicine ball training for core strength, saw him become one of the most feared strikers in the Premier League, warranting a £70 million price tag when Everton traded him to Manchester United in 2017. While he was less of a tank than Lukaku, retired Manchester United legend Ryan Giggs was equally committed to his fitness. In 2003, suffering from maddening hamstring problems, Giggs took up yoga. He might have copped some flack in the hyper-macho world of the Premier League, but it contributed to Giggs winning 13 English top-flight titles with United over a 23-year career. Welsh phenomenon Gareth Bale is famous for his conditioning, especially in pre-season. But he's also one of those gifted individuals born with freakish natural speed. The winger who won back-to-back Champions Leagues with Real Madrid was running 100 metres in 11 seconds as a 14-year-old. Few can match Bale for pace, although he does recall one speedy opponent when he starred for Spurs in the Premier League, Arsenal's Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Alex is quick, admitted Bale, but don't tell him I said that. As is the case with so many football ranking exercises, annoyingly, at the top of the pile sits Cristiano Ronaldo. It can't be denied the Portuguese pretty boy reset the bar for fitness and conditioning. Whether it was entirely to serve his playing career is questionable. Ronaldo's never been shy to show off the beach muscles he developed as a result of his training. But serve him it did. At 32, Ronaldo looked dangerous as ever when he scored 2 goals in the Champions League final against Juventus to help deliver Real Madrid its 12th title. Despite the workload, he seemed genuinely unfazed.
I'm motivated, I'm happy, I'm in a good moment, and my age is just a number. I feel like a young boy.
Going above and beyond in the gym was coupled with some smart management. Real boss Zinedine Zidane cleverly backed off Ronaldo's La Liga minutes that season to ensure he could deliver in the big moments. So yes, treating his body like a temple served Cristiano Ronaldo very well throughout his career, just in case you've been living on Mars and failed to notice. Still to come, did Germany's young guns prove football doesn't always need its stars? Ahead of the 2017 Confederations Cup, Germany head coach Joachim Löw came under fire for leaving some star names off his roster, resting them up for the World Cup title defence. National heroes like Toni Kroos, Thomas Müller and Mesut Özil were among those missing. World Cup Organising Committee chief Alexei Sorokin criticised the move, saying fans come to events to watch the stars. But there were pundits with greater faith that Germany's youth could produce something worthy of the fans' time. Nika, the polar bear, for instance, was all for it, making consistent predictions the reigning world champions would prevail by selecting which bowl to chow down on. While the tournament was a little lacking in depth, it gave some of the country's brightest up-and-comers a chance to shine. Young captain Julian Draxler led by example with 4 goals, giving onlookers plenty to rave about. As did striker Timo Werner's 3 goals and 2 assists, including for the winner in the final, which earned him the Adidas Golden Boot. Ominously, the average age of Germany's first Confederations Cup winning squad was 24. The babyface band prevailing over Chilean legends like Alexis Sanchez and Arturo Vidal in the final. Following the win, Germany under-21's head coach Stefan Kuntz had a message for critics.
I am happy if somebody before the tournament starts to criticize the German squad. No idea of football, only for being in public and something else. And then you go there and you say, hey, what's about our second team? What do you mean with B team? We won the title. And then he has to go away and say, oh, maybe I have no idea about football.
He had plenty to brag about himself, having just guided his own squad to the under-21's European Championship title. No country produces a double from such youngsters without serious depth in the culture, which Kuntz had covered.
As a coach, you know 30, 40, 50 stories behind every player, behind every teammate of the staff and everything. And the most satisfying feeling is if you look in the eyes and you look in the faces and you see so much happiness and so much satisfaction. This was unbelievable. It was so great.
It required significant maturity among the players too.
great victory today. Amazing feeling, amazing team spirit. I've never had this before. This is wonderful. Yeah, you see, I have to make a lot of music because they make my German music, so I have to.
Well, you know, relative maturity. But hey, this kind of carry-on is just proof young players are the game's future entertainers. The Confederations Cup and Under-21 double showed crying about missing legends is missing the point.